Welcome everybody to episode 4 of In My Opinion. My name is King Vance, and today I'm going to talk about Tory Lanez, Megan Thee Stallion, and R.Kelly. Now, the reason I'm going to talk about R.Kelly is because with this whole Tory Lanez and Megan situation, everybody is bringing R.Kelly back up into the equation. More recently, I've been going back and forth, getting into it with people on Twitter about the whole R. Kelly situation because people is failing to understand my stance on the situation itself. So I'm going to start with R. Kelly. First and foremost, I want to say that nigga deserved to be in jail. Nigga probably deserved to be under the jail. And that ass whooping that he took last week before last, whatever, he deserved that shit. Probably deserved more. But with that being said, people misunderstand how I feel about that situation just because I say I still listen to his music, or I would listen to his music without turning it off. So, once again, before I get into this, that nigga deserves to be in jail, deserves to be under the jail, and deserve every last ass whooping that nigga get. Now, my only problem with the whole R. Kelly situation was the fact that it took a documentary to get people to see that this nigga was a sick man. I've had women on my Twitter page, and for those of you all who don't follow me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. I will leave my Twitter name in the description down below. But people be arguing with me on Twitter because they taking my argument as me taking up for him, and that's not what I'm doing. I have random women on Twitter saying that I don't protect black women, I don't care about black women, all kind of shit. And I promise you, not one black woman in my family can ever say that I personally have not looked out for them when a situation has occurred, been brought to my attention, and I'm there to do something about it. Not one. You would never disrespect my wife in front of my face, my sister in front of my face, my mama in front of my face. Did I say my mama already? If I didn't, my mama in front of my face, cousin, auntie, grandma, nobody, friend, anybody in front of my face. There is nothing somebody can bring to me about something that I won't go handle if it needs to be handled. So with that being said, my only problem is the people who were old enough back then, whether they were a part of his entourage or not, the people who was old enough at that point in time did nothing about it. And when I say did nothing, I mean, yeah, there might have been a few protests. I'm not really sure. It might have been some people who spoke out. Again, I'm not too sure. But I know it wasn't enough, and nobody did enough to get this nigga up out of here when this stuff first started to happen. If I remember correctly, the whole Aaliyah thing got brought to the spotlight around 94. I could be off, I could be wrong, but I believe it had to be like a 94, no later than 95. And people legit didn't do anything about it. If we go back to the documentary itself, it's people in there that states they knew he was doing these things, but yet nobody did nothing. They just left. Like, they just left. They just covered it up. And then the people who did say something and tried to say something, bring it to attention, and nobody was paying attention, nobody listened to what they had to say, I agree that that's messed up. I agree. I am not on that nigga's side. I do not think that he's innocent. I do believe he's guilty of the things that they saying he did, and I do believe the young ladies who went through with it. Again, my issue is the people who helped him do these things, and not only the people who recruited the women for him, but the people who saw what he was doing and chose to say nothing. There's a young lady on my Twitter who was just this same day, coming after me on my Twitter page about how she went to high school with some of these women who was messing with him and knew some of the teachers who was allowing him to come up to the school and actually have sex with these girls in the school. But she's pointing a finger at me and another gentleman saying we don't protect black women. But you were a black woman who didn't protect black women when you knew this was happening and you chose not to say nothing. Those teachers you're referring to are the ones who wasn't protecting black women when they chose not to say something. And in 94, I was 5 and 6 years. I was 5 or 6, depending on the time frame in that year. My birthday is not until August. So at some point in that year, I was 5 or 6 years old. What do you expect a 5 or 6 year old to do that teenagers who understand what's going on is not saying anything? When adults who knows what's going on isn't saying anything. People knew these things. The Aaliyah thing was worldwide. That was headlines. That was front page news. Everybody knew. You have actors that knew, rappers that knew, comedians that knew. And if y'all want to do y'all research, go back and listen to comedians talk about R.Kelly. Go back and listen to rappers who poke fun at R.Kelly with pissing on little girls. Hell, we can go all the way back to 2003, 2004 when 50 Cent came out. They had a live concert. I don't know if it was Hot 97, one of them radio music concerts. And 50 got on stage pretty much teasing R.Kelly. And he didn't even do it for the simple fact that it was wrong. He did it because he felt like the nigga was going to bring out Ja Rule. And everybody know him and Ja Rule don't get along. So he took a stab at him and Ja Rule at the same time. He had another song that I believe was on either The Power of the Dollar or it was on the 8 Mile soundtrack, but it was like it was a slow song. It was just like a sample, like a soul beat. It was sampled. And he had a line talking about R. Kelly messing around with Bow Wow Girl, something like that. For those of you who are real 50 Cent fans, y'all know what song I'm talking about. I can't think of the song right now. But that just goes to show that was back in 2003, no later than 2004, and the niggas been knew this. I'm not mad at anybody who wants to get him out of here. Get him out of here. I'm mad at the ones who was old enough to do this back then that chose not to do anything or say anything, and he had a long career. A very long career. It's no secret what that nigga was doing in the industry. Anybody that was in the industry knew what this nigga was doing. So for them to sit here and now all of a sudden everybody want to act like they're not going to work with him no more, they're not going to do this no more, like, ooh, y'all knew this back then. Everybody knew this back then. If you were old enough to say something when you saw it happening, you're a part of that problem. And people is misunderstanding when I say people knew and didn't do anything. They make it seem like I'm trying to say, well, since they ain't do nothing or they ain't say nothing, you should get away with it. That's not what I'm saying. And it's very hard to put that into words when Twitter only give you 150 characters to type that out in. Even on Facebook, when it first broke, I had people on my Facebook page coming at my head because of where I stood. And people talking about, what if it was your daughter, or if it was your sister, or woo. Nigga would have got hands and feet put on him. And I'm not saying necessarily by me, but he would have got hands and feet put on him. No ands, ifs, buts about it. A lot of these people knew where his studio was. A lot of these people knew where his hangout spots was. Nobody did nothing. So because those people didn't do anything, people want to point the finger at motherfuckers like me who calling those people out because they have newfound outrage because everybody else is upset. If you are genuinely upset and you genuinely never listen to this nigga music because of what he said and because of what he did, I applaud you. I do. My beef ain't with y'all. Because some of y'all seem to be the ones who arguing with me as well. No, I agree with y'all. Fuck this nigga. But for me personally, I can't help it. If I hear the nigga music, I'm listening to it. Sorry. That don't mean I agree with what he had going on. That doesn't mean I stand by him. If I hear it, I'm listening. Again, I was 4 or 5 years old. I grew up on this nigga's music. Can't help that I like the music. R. Kelly ain't the only sick bastard. And if y'all whole thing is, well, y'all still listen to his music, you supporting him. Well, you listen to anything that he's ever done, you're supporting him. You putting music, you putting money into his pockets. You can't sit here and go, if a 12 play come on, I decide to listen to the song 12 play. Oh, you gave him a stream. You putting money in his pocket. Okay. You listen to this song. You listen to that song. You listen to this song. And he wrote that song. Then he produced that song. Anything he got writing credit, producer credit, all that stuff lined his pockets up. It's no different from me listening to a song he actually sung himself than you listening to a song that he wrote, produced, or whatever. It's the same thing. Everybody that want to go out and support Sparkle, oh, I'm gonna go out and support her album so she can get some more money. Well, who you think wrote her album? Who you think produced her album? Where you think that money is going? You still lining his pockets up. Michael Jackson, when he wrote, I think he wrote 2 songs for Michael Jackson. Might have to go back and look at that, but when you listen to those songs, I mean, it's Michael. People listen to Mike. When you listen to those 2 particular songs or whatever, how many songs he wrote for him, guess what? Still money in his pocket. Whitney, money in his pocket. And if he don't write songs for people, he have made songs for people. What about some of your favorite artists that you grew up listening to that made songs with this nigga during that period and during that time you claim you wasn't a fan of him? But your favorite artist made music with him. Your favorite artist decided to get music written by him. Your favorite artist decided to get music produced by him. Don't pick on me, a regular civilian nigga who just enjoy music. But you don't want to point the finger at the people who could have made a bigger difference. Because if the music industry would have shut him out, what had he would have done? In the 90s, you needed the major labels. It's not like today where you can do this, get on your phone, make your own content, and make money that way. This is the 90s. If he could make music independent, he would have done that. He wouldn't have been looking for no deal. He wouldn't have been on them TV shows where he won record deals and money and stuff like that to get on. He would have been on. So if the music industry would have shut him down from the beginning, how many women would have been saved? So don't point the finger at people like me who decide they still want to listen to his music because we enjoy it. You still listen to all them other songs that he wrote and produced because what? You enjoy it. Ain't no different than what I'm doing. Don't confuse that with me saying I agree with him because I don't. I don't agree with nothing that man did. At all. I done told people plenty of times I could put hands and feet on that man and still step in the name of love like I ain't just had hands and feet put on him. Don't make me no difference. Y'all bugging. Y'all literally are saying that men don't protect black women because when we speak in facts, y'all don't like it. Me speaking facts and me telling you how I feel about a situation, it's 2 different things. It's 2 different things. The facts is he could have been stopped years ago and it didn't happen. That's facts. How I feel is he should have been stopped years ago. And because people didn't do anything, it allowed him to get so big that every time they tried, they failed. Every time they tried, they failed. To me, that doesn't mean he was innocent. That just means they couldn't get him. Everybody that's found not guilty is not always not guilty. You just couldn't get them. They couldn't be got. I really just don't appreciate how a bunch of black women that's coming at my head and trying to tell me how I don't protect black women because I'm telling them facts. This same lady on Twitter wrote me back and told me. Matter of fact, I told her, I said, I'm done with this conversation because you're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. You're not acknowledging the fact that I'm agreeing with you. I'm just simply saying, why not get his ass out of here years ago. Because she tried to sun me by calling me a baby. Or you was a baby then, you was a child then. Okay, well, you was a teenager then. Why you didn't say nothing? Because I'm pretty sure if it was you in that situation, the way you talking, you would have said something, right? Or you would have wanted somebody to say something about it. Because you're so much older than me. That's how I'm looking at it. Don't come at my head for something that you decided not to do. You came on Twitter to say you knew the people that was going through this and you chose not to help them and say anything. And then you knew the teachers who was allowing it to happen and they chose not to say anything. You part of the problem. But you want to point the finger at me? Can't do that. What kind of world do we live in where you want to blame people who had nothing to do with it and at that time period had no power to do anything about it? But you want to point the finger at me because I'm pointing the finger at people like you who did and y'all didn't do anything about it. I'm not understanding how does that, I don't understand how that works. I really don't. I'm trying to understand how that works because I don't get it. I really don't get that. They got to help me help me explain how that works because I don't. I'm trying to figure out why we even still talking about this nigga. The man is locked up. Ain't nothing else he can do. He ain't getting out. He's trying everything to get out. It ain't working. He's in there. I hope he's staying there. Hope the nigga die in there, honestly. Ain't no sympathy for him. And then everybody wanted to, then she brought up the fact that it took a white man to whip his ass. Okay. What's your point? Again, that's not my fault. Nobody who was around that time that could have whipped his ass ain't whipped his ass. Once again, I was only 4 or 5 years old. What do you want me to do? You was of age. You know no niggas from the neighborhood who could have went up there and whip it and whip him up. Okay, get mad at me. I just feel like at the end of the day, no matter how many times I tell people, or how many times I repeat it, or how many times I express, I do not stand by what the man did. I feel bad for the victims. And when I say the victims, I mean the real victims, the ones who really fought against this man, even though it fell on deaf ears. Them the ones I feel sorry for. Not the ones who kept taking hush money. If you really wanted true justice, what is the hush money for? What are you hushing up for? Go get what you came to get, which was justice. Ain't no justice if you took money. You took money. I should have been bold enough to say, man, fuck your money. I don't want your money. Ain't enough money that you can give me. Them women was on that documentary crying and bawling and shaking and all of this, but y'all took the money. And then years later want to say nobody believed y'all back then, which is why y'all took the money. Okay, then why come out now and say something? You already took the money. Let it go. And I know some of y'all gonna hear that remark and be like, oh, well, there it is. No, it's not there it is. There's not a there it is moment. No. That's always been a sign of some type of guilt. And if you allow them to get away with it by giving you money, they will forever get away with it. It has to come to a point where somebody say, forget your money. It's not about your money. You need to go to jail. You need to pay for what you did. Hell, why not even, if you do take the money, why not take it and put money on his head for it? Pay some people you know that's in the, we all know somebody that's in the streets. Pay them fools. Hey man, next time y'all hear about this nigga being in the city, woo, I got this amount of money, go whoop him up and do something. Go do something. He had too many people around him that was allowing him to do the things that he did, was helping him recruit these young girls. was helping him recruit them. Everybody needs to be going down. All of them. Every last one of them. R.Kelly, his enablers, the people who knew and didn't say nothing. Everybody. It's hard to feel bad for somebody who allowed themselves to be paid off. And even as underage girls, your parents still have to be there. So how bad did the parents really feel that this happened? Like, come on, man. We gonna be 100, let's be all the way 100. Stop trying to make stuff fit into your narrative. Let's keep it 100 all the way across the board. You can't expect me to feel bad for somebody who didn't feel bad for themselves. That's not how this works. That's not how sympathy works. I can't feel bad for somebody who don't feel bad for themselves. Why am I wasting my time and energy feeling bad for somebody who didn't feel bad for themselves? Like, I'm not understanding how that worked. So I'm gonna close this out because I'm honestly tired of talking about R.Kelly. Finna get on to this Tory and Meg, and this ain't even the type of channel I wanted this to be. I wanted this to be on some, on some everyday things, speaking on everyday things that everybody can relate to. But this is a relatable situation because this can be this actually goes on in the regular neighborhoods. I went to high school with girls who was messing with grown men as freshmen. They called us little boys like we weren't the same age. Decided to go mess with some nigga from the hood that they knew that had cars pulling up, picking them up. I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen because it's not something that's new. But what I'm saying is y'all need to think about the things that y'all do, the things that affect you later on in life. I don't believe all of them honestly felt the way that they felt. I believe a lot of them wanted it, even though it wasn't right. He still need his ass kicked. The people who helped him get them girls still need their ass kicked. Because at the end of the day, he's the adult. He should know better. But at the end of the day, we cannot act like there's not women out there, young girls, that don't put themselves out there acting fast. Let's keep it 100. There was plenty of young girls in high school messing with men that weren't in high school no more. And they thought that was cute. Going back telling their friends, yeah, girl, he did this and he did that and woo, out the bam and all this other stuff. Keep it 100. But whatever, I'm gonna let that go. On to this Tory and Meg. The whole Tory and Meg situation is one of those things that's like, this is crazy. Because when it first came out, it was just, he was arrested for having a gun and she got cut on her foot. Then she decided to come out and just say, yeah, he shot me. And he stayed quiet and everybody in the world just started tearing him a new one. And not saying I never believed her, but there's always 3 sides to a story. It's one side, it's this side, and then it's the truth. He recently just came out and made a post that said that he was going to tell everybody what was going on, this, that, and the third. Then he doubled back and pretty much told us it was going to be an album. Now, at that point, I was like, it really didn't need to be no album. I really just want to hear your side of the story, fam. Just explaining yourself of what happened, this, that, and the third. But between her comments, I think it's like 2 other people comments that's supposed to be, quote unquote, supposed to be close to her, and the things he said on his album, it kind of sounds like she was shot, I wouldn't say shot at, but wasn't hit and got hit by ricochets. And he wasn't the one that actually pulled the trigger. That's what I get out of all the stories and scenarios I done heard. He also had a line in the song that said, "You wasn't even facing me, you're walking away. If you're walking away, how can you identify that I'm the shooter?" Which is technically a valid point. If there's a big argument going on and you're walking away and you end up getting shot, who's to say the person that you think shot you shot you? The one thing everybody can agree on was everybody was drunk. Now, do I agree that a gun should have been pulled in the first place? No, I don't. You're dealing, if I remember correctly, it's supposed to have been Meg, her friend, which is another woman, Tory, and his bodyguard. So you're dealing with two men and two women. There's no need for a gun to be pulled, period. But it's some sources that says her friend is the one who pulled the gun. And we're trying to get it out of her hands. The trigger got pulled. I don't know how true none of this is. I wasn't there. Neither were none of y'all. So like Maul said from the Joe Budden podcast, if he did it, if he the one who pulled the gun and pulled the trigger with the intent of either aiming at her, shooting at her, whatever, then yeah, he's a bitch ass nigga for that. But if he ain't the one who pulled the trigger, we don't know this. And everybody involved, even Meg's own friends, saying that Meg was drunk and didn't know what was going on. So it's easy for somebody to say, we're going to say he did it. And then she runs with it. Because she was too drunk to realize what was going on. Do I believe she was too drunk to know what's going on? No. Because everybody told the same. And I get you can sober up quick when stuff happens. You sober up real quick. Even when you high as ever, something happens, your high get blown. I get that. But it kind of sort of makes sense of why he apologized without actually saying, "I'm sorry for shooting you." Because even in the songs, he was saying that, yes, I was paying more attention to Kylie because I have a crush on her. I shouldn't have done that. And had I known you was leaving the party because of that, I would have went after you. He admits those things. The only thing he don't admit to is actually shooting her. He's basically saying, yeah, you got shot, but not really. Meaning you got hit with some ricochets and I'm not the one who pulled the trigger. How will we know who's telling the truth? Is it any footage? If it is, we won't see it. And if the police got it, I'm pretty sure he would have been charged. He still ain't been charged with firing. And there's evidence out there that he has no gun residue, no gunpowder residue, nothing on him. If the police came, arrested all of them, everybody pretty much got questioned by the police, is that and third, been tested. If the gun residue powder is not on him, then how can he be the shooter? It's just a messed up, confusing night. That should never happen. It's a big mess. That is a big mess. And quite honestly, I feel like Tory is in the R.Kelly category as far as not waiting too long to get him out of here, but what is the real evidence against him? Because it was real evidence against R.Kelly. At this particular point, there's no real evidence that Tory shot her. Everybody's so quick to take her side because we under this whole impression of nobody protects black women. That's not true. Things happen. And when I say things happen, I mean things happen. People get hurt all the time. That does not mean people are not protected. That just means at that point in time, something happened. At that point in time, that person was not protected. That does not mean every black man is running around shooting black women. That does not mean every black person, every black man out there is not protecting black women. There's plenty of situations where black women has killed and shot black men. Black men ain't out here talking about, oh, black women ain't protecting us or they don't care. We're not doing all of that. Y'all have to stop. Y'all have to cut that out. This whole black men versus black women got to stop. I don't see how y'all don't understand that pointing the finger is not fixing anything. At this point, everybody just shut up and come together. Why is that so hard to do? Everybody's so quick to come to a judgment based off what one person said without hearing the other side. What we doing to each other is what they are already doing to us, which is judging us before they even know our side and what happened. It's exactly what y'all did to Tory. Again, if he did it, then he deserves to go to jail. He deserves to be out of here and lose his career. He do. But we don't know for a fact that that happened. And y'all automatically labeled him and trying to get him out of here. We don't know that. I'm not saying she's lying. Obviously, something happened to her foot. There was an altercation. But the way y'all treating this is like when a woman is claiming a man raped her and then she backtracks and say, oh, he didn't, I was lying. It's those type of situations that you need to hear both sides of the story. We need to come out and wait for the facts before everybody start talking about this, that, and the third. Again, do I feel like a gun should have been brought out? No. But we don't know who brought the gun out to begin with. We don't know who shot the gun to begin with. People got to stop jumping to conclusions based off what one side of the story is saying. I get in the beginning, she said she wanted to protect him, this, that, and the third. That's why she didn't say anything. I understand that. But now that you put it out there, if it's really that, you still ain't press charges though. You still didn't go back and say, I'm going to press charges against him. Because you coming out and saying he did it and there's no charges being pressed up against him, that's not going to do anything. This day and age, you keep pumping out good music, nobody's going to care. You could have done anything you wanted, nobody's going to care. That man keep pumping out good music. I'm not going to lie, the album was fire. People can say what they want. The album was hard. I'm not even a big Tory fan. I've had homies trying to get me to listen to him because he's hard. And he got some hard music, but I'm not a fan as far as needing to hear his music. If I hear it, I hear it. If I don't, I don't. I'm a casual fan of his. I'm not an actual fan of his. Only reason I even listened to the album is because I wanted to know his side of the story. That's what we all wanted to know. Everybody wanted to know. Some people didn't have an issue with him talking until he admitted to coming out with an album versus just talking. There was a lot of people looking forward to hearing what he had to say until they found out it was an album. Because they felt like now you capitalizing. Which he is. He's capitalizing off the situation. And then one of the songs, I think he admitted to losing like some millions of dollars. So maybe he felt like that'd be the way to get his money back. I don't know. Don't know what that man is thinking. All I know is everybody came to a conclusion before we even knew. Excuse me. Everybody came to a conclusion before we really knew what happened. We don't know what happened. We can only go off he say, she say. And everybody is online killing each other over he say, she say. Why don't everybody just leave it alone until we can get the facts? It's almost like a bad breakup, and you got both people online talking bad about the other. Everything they saying might not even be facts. Because when things is going good, none of that stuff matters. It's always when something go bad, everybody always has something bad to say. The worst. Always. It never fails. I hope he didn't do it. Just for the simple fact that he's a man and should never, ever have to come to a point where you feel like as a man, you have to pull a gun on a woman that's not threatening. And then everybody got the jokes. I know she's tall. Everybody want to call her Amazon. She got big feet, this, that, and the third. I get that. And he a little dude. He's 5'3". I'm a little dude at 5'7". So at 5'3", I know he's a little dude. I think my mama's like that height. So everybody want to crack the joke. Oh, if I was that little, I'll pull a gun out on her too. This, that, and the third. You know, social media got jokes. Everybody got jokes. Some people confuse the jokes with people actually meaning what they say. If you don't know social media by now, it's all jokes. Nobody take nothing serious on social media no more. And that's the problem, because you have those people who crack jokes and the people that's always serious, and those two worlds collide, and it's not good. Because the people that's taking it serious don't understand that people are joking. Social media has turned into a big joke. Everything is funny. We're going to make fun of everything. And some people is just taking it so serious they don't understand it. They don't get it. They not saying they don't get it. It's just they don't care for the jokes. And sometimes I don't care for the jokes. I don't. Depending on what it is, I don't care for the jokes. Everything is not meant to be joked about. Whether he did it or not, she was shot. That's not nothing to make fun of and be funny about. That's a serious situation. And then she's saying he did it. And if he did it, that's a serious situation as well. There's nothing to be laughing about. But like I say, it's social media. People are gonna have the jokes. We gotta stop. Once again, we have to stop with the black man versus black woman. We're all black. Our biggest issue is we can't stick together for anything. For anything. We can't stick together. If we do come together, it is very, 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 very fast. It's over with real quick. It don't last. It do not last. We stab each other in the back faster than a white man to stab us in the back. Things will never change until the change starts with us. The change starts with us. Regardless of what it is, the change starts with us. Until we're able to work together on a consistent basis, all of the things that's going on is going to continue to go on, period. Period. Within our own communities, and the people that's outside of our communities that come into our communities doing things that they shouldn't be doing. It's going to continue to happen until we're able to come together for real, for real. Everybody is about that talk life, but ain't nobody walking. We have too many lost souls out there. And as they get older and they get kids, their kids are becoming more lost souls. It's just going to get worse and worse. Everybody just got to do their own part. My part is making sure my sons understand what's going on in this world. My job is to make sure my 3 boys is not going to grow up to be shooting at women, putting their hands on women. I ain't never shot at a woman before. I ain't never put my hands on a woman before. As a man, understanding what that means. As a kid, sure I have. I done smacked a few girls before as a kid. And when I say kid, I'm talking 10 and under. Kid. But my mother and my father both taught me the importance and the responsibility of being a man, a young man, and being a man and putting your hands on a woman. My wife can never say, and she will never say, I put my hands on her, because I never will. We have to get away from hurting each other. It's going on too long. At some point, it got to stop. What are we waiting on? I might misquote this quote, but it's always been said: if you want to change, you have to be the change that you want to see. If you don't make that change, you can't expect somebody else to make it. You do it. There's no reason why we see each other out in the street, we mean mug each other. For what? Nigga, I don't even know you, fam. Why you mean mugging me? What did I do to you? Why would I be mean mugging you? What did you do to me? I don't know you. We don't know each other. And I know, as far as like on some street stuff, I get it. It's just certain things is just ain't gonna never change when it comes to the street stuff. But that's the streets. I'm talking about genuinely seeing another black person and you automatically frown up for what? Do you know that man? Women too. Y'all see each other and roll your eyes at them for what? Are you threatened by this woman? What is your issue? We got to get out of that. You cannot sit here and be mad at white people who decide to cross the street when they see black people. All this other goofy stuff white people do when they see us because they feel threatened. We ain't done nothing to them for to feel threatened. But that's how I feel about us. What do we do to each other to make each other feel like we have to be on guard when we see each other? I get being aware of your surroundings. I get that. But you don't always have to be on guard. It's one thing to look around and make sure your surroundings is cool, but it's another to just be looking at people, waiting to see if they're going to do something. You cannot enjoy your life if you're going to be somewhere and you constantly waiting on people to do something. No, I'm going to enjoy myself, but I'm also going to peep the scenery if it starts looking a little sketchy. That's it. So I feel like Tory should have just came out and just told his story. That's it. Just tell your side of the story, fam. Just tell your side of the story. Even if he would have done it after the album dropped, you still should have went on video, live, whatever, and just told your side of the story. Because now there's no excuse for you not to speak out. You already put it in the music. So if it's about it being an open case and this, that, and the third, well, you done already spoke on it, fam. So speak. If you're going to speak on it, speak on it. So my whole thing with this, and then they tried to bring Chris Brown back into it, like, the arguments do nothing but bringing up the past, bringing up old stuff that everybody's supposed to be over. Y'all done already forgave Chris Brown. Chris Brown has been forgiven. His career since the incident shows he has been forgiven. There's no reason to bring him back into the situation. The situation was Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Let's keep it on Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion, because that situation is not the same as Chris Brown and Rihanna. That situation is not the same as R.Kelly and all these women and girls he was messing with. They are not the same. We cannot sit here and treat it as it's the same, because it's not. One thing I noticed is, like I stated earlier, when you speaking the truth, people are, because they don't like the truth. The truth is a hard pill to swallow. A lot of people cannot handle the truth. And people use that line famously, you know, in TV shows, movies, whatever, want to put it on social media. But that's real life. People cannot handle the truth. The truth hurts. People hear the truth and they automatically get defensive. It's the truth, fam. Take it for what it is. I learned a long time ago not to be offended by the truth. If it's the truth, there's nothing you can do about it. Let's keep it 100. And that's the problem. People don't know how to keep things 100 no more. Everybody is saying things and making up their own stuff to fit a narrative that they want to push out. No, let's keep this 100. We don't know the facts. So you cannot say, man, that nigga shot her. He this, he that. Woo, woo. We don't know he shot her. Everybody took her word and ran with it. But then y'all mad because we want to hear his side. And the first thing y'all want to yell out is, oh, it ain't no other side. It ain't no side. What? So if somebody accused somebody you knew and you feel like they wouldn't done that, but they been accused of doing it, the first thing you're going to say is, nah, he ain't going to do that. I know him. You don't think he got people that feel like that? But y'all done already them ridiculed him. Just like I'm pretty sure she got people that go, nah, she ain't gonna lie about nothing like that. And I'm not saying she's lying. She can feel like he did it. In her mind, he did it. I'm not gonna say probably. In her mind, he did it. That might not be the reality though. Because as I stated in one of his songs, he said she wasn't even facing, she was walking their way, wasn't even facing them when the gun went off. So how does she know for a fact he did it? The gun might be registered to him, so yeah, the gun is his. But how many people you know have guns that were shot by somebody else? It wasn't even shot by them. Somebody else shot their weapon. We have to get off that, let's take one person's word for it and just, we done. If that's the case, you know how many more men, because there's already men in jail, but you know how many more men will be locked up over something a woman said that wasn't true or what she thought to be true. There's a lot of men doing time in jail for rape that didn't rape nobody. And a lot of women get mad at men for wanting to give the man the benefit of the doubt when there's been so much against us. This is what I mean by people have to learn how to start understanding there's always two sides to a story. Everybody is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Correct? So why would you want to make somebody guilty if they haven't been proven as guilty yet? Because if the shoe was on the other foot, and I don't mean necessarily her foot, but just in general, if the shoe was on your foot and people saying you guilty and you like, wait, I didn't do anything, but everybody's saying you did it. They making you guilty before you even been proven guilty. How was that cool? Think about that. How is that cool? Just take a second to think about that. Just think to yourself for a second. If somebody said you did something you didn't do, and everybody is running with it, basically saying you guilty, at some point you're gonna be like, wait a minute, why everybody saying I didn't do this though? It don't matter. You guilty. You know how many people is in jail because of that? Do you know how many more people would be in jail if a lot more of that stuff continue to go on? We already have enough false convictions behind people not listening to both sides or just listening to one side and going, oh, they guilty. Get them out of here. We got to stop that. Again, I'm not saying she's lying, but we don't know the full story. We don't know the facts of this story. The only facts that we have is the gun is registered to him, is his, and she was shot. I'm seeing quote unquote sources closest to them. I don't always trust the sources because people always talk about sources. Man, who the hell is these sources? But a couple of sources that I saw is actually on her side. And they both saying she get a little drunk, she get a little abusive. I'm not saying that's a right for him to shoot her. But everybody was kind of going to the fact that he ain't the shooter. So now it's okay, well, who's supposed to be the shooter? Nobody's coming forward, though. A lot of people was hinting that he ain't the shooter, but who's going to come forward and say they the ones who did it? And again, if it comes out that he actually did it, that he needs to go to jail. His career need to be over with. And he's a goofball for that shit. If he did it. If he didn't do it, he's owed some apologies, like for real. People need to learn how to give apologies when it's needed and necessary. People get off. Well, I ain't gonna say people get off, because like I said earlier with the R.Kelly situations, he got off plenty of time. That nigga guilty. But people get found not guilty. Hardcore evidence of them being not guilty. I'm gonna put it that way. The ones that are truly 100% not guilty. Let me say that. And nobody apologizes. People still look at them funny. The story still follows them. All that stuff. Nobody likes to be accused of something they didn't do. I'm not speaking for the people who do things and then act like they didn't do it. Not talking about them. Please follow me. Please follow me. Listen to what I'm saying. Don't start half-ass listening and then want to come to your own conclusion of what I'm saying. People who real life didn't do anything do not like to be blamed for doing something. Nobody wants to be blamed for doing something they didn't do. Nobody. I don't care who you are. Nobody's going to jail for something they didn't do. Or nobody wants to go to jail for something that they didn't do. I'm pretty sure it's people who took the rap for other people, but I'm pretty sure they did not want to take that rap. So let's not act like everybody is a judge and they get to pick and choose who's guilty and who's not guilty. Let's not do that. Let's act like we know how to understand that there's always multiple sides to a story. Y'all automatically labeled that man a shooter. Said he shot that girl. All these rappers coming at his head, which I don't understand, because some of y'all niggas have done way worse. I'm pretty sure some of y'all done put hands on women. Mr. Rick Ross himself, I'm slipping roofies and drinks and enjoyed it and she ain't know it. Like, come on. And you the first one that's gonna speak out against him when he dropped his album? Come on, man. Y'all gotta stop. A lot of these men putting hands on women and y'all wanna speak out against this dude? Like, come on, man. Don't do that. Don't put yourself out there when you know you have things going on in your life or in your past that you ain't proud of. Just be quiet. Just be quiet. My thing with Ross is, bruh, your line was rapey. Everybody knew it. You made Rocco do a whole remix. Within 24 hours of them trying to pull the record, he had to go do a whole nother remix to get you off. You lost endorsements behind that. You ain't got no room for that. And then you want to say he shouldn't have dropped it because of the Breonna Taylor verdict. Let me say this about that. Her verdict have nothing to do, well, I'm going to say her verdict, but the verdict of those cops of her murder has nothing to do with him releasing music. You can't sit there and tell him that his music, he could have waited when sports and all kind of things and stuff was going on that night. Ain't nobody stopped. Them basketball teams could have boycotted. They didn't do it. Them baseball teams that played could have boycotted. They didn't do it. Don't tell that man what he shouldn't have not done just because the verdict came out the way that first of all, we all knew was going to come out that way. and then you in the video promoting your liquor. So how genuine was your response to him? Now you starting a BS fuel with him, but you promoting your things in every video that you post. You ain't genuine either. That's not a genuine move. Because if you really felt that way, you could have called that man. I'm tired of you industry niggas always coming to the internet for stuff that y'all could call each other for. Y'all do all this capping for the fans just to make yourself look good when you could have called that man. You could have called that dude. T.I. called that man. Told the world he had a conversation with him and didn't want to tell the world what he said. He was going to leave that up to him to say. Because I'm pretty sure he thought he probably was going to come online and talk like everybody else did. Instead, he dropped an album. So, I don't know. But it ain't that hard for you fools to get each other's numbers. Especially the bigger artists in the game. It ain't that hard. I'm pretty sure you could snap your fingers and get that nigga number. But you rather make a video and you got two Bel Air bottles all in the camera. We could barely see your fat ass head in the video. Some things people just need to stay out of. If you want to call him out for shooting Meg, then you can do that. But at the same time, like I said before, we don't know how true that is yet. But don't go to the internet, running to the internet talking about, oh, you releasing your album on this day. You could have waited when you knew everything that was going on. He ain't the only person in the world that was making moves to make money on that day, fam. The fact that you advertising your liquor in the video just goes to show that you don't really care about what happened. Your first single is talking about what's going on between us and them. Your video is showing that. You know what you're doing with that, man. That's gonna get views because right now that's what's fueling everything right now. This whole us against them. You know what you're doing, fam. Come on now. So, before I close this video out, because I'm about over it, about done talking about this, I really don't want to be arguing with people on my social medias about this no more. Like I said, if y'all don't follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I'll leave my Twitter and Instagram names down in the description. Follow me. But, you know, y'all will see what I'm talking about. If y'all go through my tweets, my Instagrams, you know, ain't nothing but pictures, really. I rarely have captions on my pictures if I do put them. My Twitter seems to be the place I argue with people the most. My Facebook, I'll leave my Facebook down there as well. But other than that, man, yeah, I just feel like R.Kelly guilty. He needs to stay in jail. I'm not on his side. He is not innocent in my eyes. For those of y'all who seem to think I'm on his side. The whole Tory thing, I just want to say, let's wait this out and see what's going on. I mean, I feel bad for Meg. I do, because I am a fan of hers. My wife is a huge fan of hers. We live down here in Texas, so we feel we feel how big she is down here in Houston. But we have to get to a point where we got to stop pointing fingers before we know the whole story and the truth. We don't know the truth just yet, so yeah. So if y'all fuck with me, man, like, comment, subscribe, share it. You know what I mean? Leave your thoughts down below. However you feel about it, let me know. Peace.